let's talk about the JBL PartyBox Encore. Now there's two versions of this, the Encore and the Encore Essential. I've got the Encore that comes with the two mics. If you are looking to add a second one, because you can link two of them together, you get the Encore Essential for the second one. Anyways, I have been wanting to buy one of these ever since I bought my little JBL Go 3. I do have a review on my channel about this guy. I got an email about a deal. These are normally 50 bucks. I got it for 25 on sale. Best deal I've seen. Excuse me. And when I bought that, I came across this on the website. This is a $400 speaker. And I waited. I waited months because I just thought to myself, you know what? At some point, this is going to go on sale. And Black Friday, I got that email. $199, 200 bucks. I got this half off. Normally $400 in the United States. I got it for $200. So an amazing deal, well worth $200. Would I pay $400 for it? If I really needed a speaker for home karaoke, I'd spend $400 on it if I didn't have any other gear. Otherwise, I'd wait for a sale. So just a heads up there. But I do want to give a little caveat here to my review and just say that I do work in the pro audio field. I'm a live sound engineer. That's how I make probably 75% of the money I make. So some of the things in my review, I am going to compare this to a Yamaha StagePass 200 BTR, which is a similar sized cube battery powered speaker, but it's just a pro audio version. And then also microphone wise, I'm going to compare it to the Sennheiser EW-DP, which is a UHF digital battery powered wireless microphone and receiver. I own both of those and I use them pretty regularly in corporate events, wedding ceremonies, if I need a speaker, in a location where I have no power. Now, price-wise, this is $400. Price-wise, on my Yamaha Sennheiser system, it's probably going to be somewhere between $2,300, $2,500. So I'm not doing a buy this or that comparison. It's definitely comparing apples and oranges. So I'm comparing it to that system just as kind of a reference point maybe between pro audio and consumer grade audio and what the difference is going to be. But all in all, I like this speaker, so I'm not going to say, oh, go out and spend $2,500. Don't spend $400 or $200. I mean, the price of this system, even at regular price, is cheaper than one of my Sennheiser microphones. So, I mean, obviously keep that in mind. But anyways, let's get on with the review and let's talk about the speaker in general, physical characteristics. Number one, it does not have a pull socket because it's a consumer speaker, not a pro audio speaker. You're not going to put it on a stand. This is meant to be thrown on a table. I use it down in my basement and put it on, I don't know, the 5th or 6th step on my stairway that comes down here. And it's a party box that's meant to be thrown wherever you want. Throw it on a tailgate, throw it on your patio. If it's on the floor, who cares? Because you're just playing music for yourself. It's not made to be a big venue speaker. So no pull socket, which is definitely fine. I actually really like the look of the cube design. I'm a big fan of boxy things. I used to have a Honda Element. I've always wanted the, what's that weird little Nissan that's like a cube? I've always wanted one of those too. Never bought one of those. They're a little too low to the ground in my opinion. I don't think they make them anymore either. but I loved my little Honda Element. So I really like the look of this speaker. I like the lights. I think the lights look good. I don't have any music playing through it right now, so you know the lights aren't going with anything, but they just continue to smoothly roll. I do have the 3 strobe lights shut off. There's 3 LEDs at the top here, and those just kind of flash and strobe with the music. And I'm not a huge fan of stroby white LEDs. Now maybe if I was having a house party and people were dancing and I was trying to create more energy in the room and have a little bit of a light show, maybe I'd turn those LEDs on. But for general listening, I just like the smooth look of the LEDs I have on right now. And all of that's controllable in the app. The app on your phone is great in my opinion. It'll control pretty much every function on this thing, so I definitely like the app. If we flip it around to the back here, I didn't look up in advance to see what kind of IP rating this has, but I assume it must have some sort of IP rating since it has these covers on here. But general information like that, you can just go to the website and look at it. I do like that there's an aux in that's a headphone jack. It's got USB. I haven't tried to play audio files off the USB because it's just so easy to Bluetooth your phone. Cool that it's got the option there. I don't think I will ever use it. I will say I don't think you can do this, but I think it would be cool if you could. Since the USB jack is there, it'd be pretty awesome if you could throw a thumb drive in there and actually record to it. So say you're practicing your karaoke, you want to record yourself singing. It'd be pretty awesome if you could hit record on the app and actually record yourself. But I think this is playback only. I haven't actually read the whole manual to this. I've just been kind of using it since I got it, which is probably what the average consumer is going to do. I know there's no record button up top here, so I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. You can Bluetooth pair, I think it's Bluetooth pair a second one together to have a pair if you need a bigger audio system. Now this next part is going to be my first gripe about the speaker. So you charge it down here. My only gripe, and this is just because I have a lot of pro audio gear, and in general, pro audio gear has IEC power cords, which are like the power cord you would use for a desktop computer. It's got the 3 prongs. In this, they're just using one of these 2-pronged ones. No ground. And you know, it's not like I'm upset. It's not like I'm upset there's no ground. I just wish it was a more universal power cord, I guess. So if I lose this, you know, it'd be nice to be able to grab, you know, a power cord from something else. Not like this is some proprietary special adapter. I'm glad they didn't choose just one of the little circles that you plug in. I would not have liked that at all. This will last. Just if you lose it, you'll have to go to like Parts Express or something and buy a new cord there. Or maybe JBL sells replacement cords. I don't know. But that's very minor gripe. I just kind of wish it had a more standard power cord. Now, as far as the handle works great on the top. You know, it's made to grab it like this and just carry it around one-handed. I think it weighs right around 13 pounds. So, you know, grab it like this, throw it on your tailgate, get ready for some tailgating. You know, throw it on your patio table and sing some karaoke outside. It's a nice little system. The buttons and stuff on the top, you know, I'll be honest, I don't really use a whole lot. Obviously mic volume, use that a little bit, turn it up and down, but once you get it set, it's kind of set. I will say, you know, you get 2 mics with the system. They are both controlled by the 1 volume knob. So if you're doing a duet with somebody and they're just an insanely loud singer that just loves to eat the microphone and is all up in it, and then you're a pretty, you know, tame singer and you got the mic down here, one person's probably going to be severely louder than the other because of that. I think it's fine, though. I mean, I haven't done a duet with this, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Just, if you got a mic eater, tell them to back off the mic a little bit. It's got bass and treble for the mic. Could be handy. I leave the mic flat. And then it's got the echo here. I started out with echo on 5 on my on the app. A little heavy, so I keep it right around a 4. Sometimes I'll think that's too heavy and I'll drop it down to a 3, but I think 4 for me is kind of the sweet spot where you hear the, you know, a good amount of echo when you're singing. Over here, we've got the power button, Bluetooth pairing. This button here will cycle through some different light programs. It's got bass boost. I think it sounds great as is. So I've actually never even turned the bass boost on. And then main volume and a play button. The only downside is, you know, I would say I'd rather have a forward and back button than to mess with the lights and a bass boost. But it's not the end of the world. You know, you're using your phone, your Bluetooth, and you can just hit next or search for a different song. So not the end of the world there, but that would maybe be my preference for buttons instead of changing the light show, because you don't change the light show very often, at least I don't, and if I want to, I can change it in the app. Bass boost, or what's the other one? Punchy? Those are in the app too. So I think a forward and a back would be used more than what's on here now, but I believe, oop, phone's ringing. Looks like a telemarketer. I believe, though, with the play button, double tap goes forward. I think on this one, triple tap goes backwards. I think maybe I did read part of the manual on this thing. I'm actually going to turn this off because my phone's paired to it. So even though I have my phone on silent, a little bit of the noise is coming through this thing. On this, so I think I read in the manual the triple tap thing, or maybe I'm just making that up, but I swear I read it somewhere. And then when I did the review of this one, I said I don't know about the play button. I thought maybe double tap went forward, triple tap went backwards. It turns out double tap does go forward, but triple tap just goes forward and pauses it because it thinks you're doing a double and a single. But I do believe on this one, triple tap goes back. But, you know, maybe try that out or read the manual yourself. I don't have everything in the manual memorized. Yeah, I guess that's about it for, you know, form and function. You know, a big thing with plastic speakers is to, like, thump it and see if there's a lot of resonance inside of it. That's more of a thing for pro audio speakers. Like, obviously, you're not going to get as heavy of plastic in this. There's probably not going to be as much internal bracing as there would be in a pro audio speaker. And there's probably not as much internal dampening. I'm not going to take this apart to investigate, but, you know, there's probably a little bit more thumpy resonance than in a pro audio speaker, but I think that's to be expected. And perhaps more thumpiness because of the port. I don't know. I don't know on that one. But with that, let's get into how this thing sounds. I actually really like the sound of this. And this is where I'll do my first comparison to not just my Yamaha Stage Pass 200, that's like the cube like this, but I am gonna say in general, in comparison to just pro audio speakers in general, if you're hooking your phone up to this Bluetooth and, you know, maybe you're auxing in, or some pro audio speakers have Bluetooth, not all, but some, but if you're just playing on a phone to a pro audio speaker and you're playing on a phone to this speaker, I think this speaker sounds better out of the box. That's because when you listen to this speaker, I feel like they have it tuned for music playback. So if you're playing a hip hop song, like, you can hear this like low rumble bass which is surprising out of a speaker this small. Now, you're not feeling a rumble, but you can hear the low bass. So when you play a song that's got a bass roll off, it'll actually roll down pretty deep. So it's kind of surprising. And that's without the bass boost on. I've actually never used the bass boost. I've never used the punchy mode because I kind of like just the general sound of this thing. Now, if you're really into hip hop or something, or EDM music, and you really want more bass, go ahead and use the bass boost. But a big reason I'm not a fan with bass boosts or punchy kicks is mostly because once you start altering the EQ like that, you normally can't push the speaker as loud because you're trying to do a lot of bass out of a little speaker. So I just kind of leave it off, and I actually really like the sound of this. Now, the Pro Audio speaker, if you're playing, just normal playback mode straight from a phone out of it, it doesn't sound as good. Now, the reason it doesn't sound as good is because a Pro Audio speaker, might be used for corporate events with talking heads, a DJ might be using it, a band might be using it, people might be doing karaoke as well with it, but it's multifunction for different types of events, so they EQ that speaker with a more flat response. So it's not tailored for, I'm playing music back out of it, the music should sound awesome. Because if you have a speaker that has, the music sounds awesome, usually the vocals, if you're doing a speaking engagement, don't sound as good. But with this, I think they prioritized music playback. I do think the mics sound just fine. I'll get into that in a minute. But, that's kind of the difference there, is like my Yamaha Stage Pass is designed with a more flat response than this is. You're not getting a flat response out of this, but you're getting really good sound for music, which is what people use it for. So that's kind of the difference there. Music playback, this sounds good. This is also more designed for near field listening, which means I'm going to be within 20 feet of the speaker listening. I mean, you can hear it further away. I'm not saying you can't, but this is kind of designed, I was trying to look up the specs on this. I'm actually not sure what the dispersion of this is, but there's it's not a compression driver, it's a mini, let's see. Looks like they used like a 2-inch driver. Don't quote me on that because I don't have a measuring stick on me, otherwise known as a tape measure. But I'd say roughly 1.75, maybe 2-inch speakers up in the top corners, and then your bigger woofer down here. But these are going to give a much wider spread of the high end, whereas like your typical Pro Audio speaker, not the Stage Pass 200, but your typical Pro Audio speaker is going to have a compression driver with a horn, typically 90 wide, 60 degrees high, and it's meant to project those high frequencies to a distance. Now these, you're not going to get the same projection of the high frequencies because they're not horn loaded. Well, it's not even a compression driver, it's just a smaller driver. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying this is designed for good near field listening, tailgating, backyard patio party, something where people are going to be kind of around the speaker, so it sounds good listening up close. A lot of Pro Audio speakers don't necessarily sound that good within 10 feet of listening to them, partially because of the separation of the horn, or sometimes the horn's just going to be excessively in your face if you're right up on it, because it's designed to project that to the back of a bar, to the the back of a gym for a school dance. That's just what those speakers are designed for versus what this speaker is designed for. So, like I said, I'm not straight up comparing the two systems and saying one is better and one's not. I'm just using a Pro Audio speaker as an example for the differences of why this is designed for a consumer versus an audio professional. But what I bought this for was karaoke. And you might be thinking, if you already own a Yamaha Cube and 2 nice microphones, why would you not just use that for karaoke? I have a couple times, But, you know, it goes out on rental. I'm using it regularly. I don't like to always be taking it out of my basement, bringing it out, bringing it back down. You know, I'm hauling it in and out all the time. Plus, it is battery powered as well. And batteries only have so many power cycles, so I don't want to unnecessarily burn up battery power cycles on me using it for karaoke in my basement. I'd much rather have a cheap speaker that just lives down in my basement that I just carry around my condo, have it out on my patio in the summer, you know, have it in my basement all the rest of the year. You know, that's why I wanted this. I have pro audio gear I could have used, but I wanted something dedicated to my home use. And karaoke was what I bought it for. Now, I will say, these microphones are metal all the way around. Not the tip here, I don't think, because it's got to transmit out of somewhere. That does kind of feel like the same material, though. But gosh, that can't be metal unless it's transmitting up here. But usually an end cap is plastic, so it can transmit out of it. I think it is, but let's just look at the bottom. Boy, does that look like there's a transmitter down there? I don't know. Boy, maybe that tip is metal. I don't think it is, though. I think that's plastic. I think it's plastic on the bottom. But it looks an awful lot like the metal. Maybe a slightly different texture. Boy, you got me on that. But it's got to transmit the signal out of somewhere. Either way, this microphone is pretty much metal all the way around. I still wouldn't want to drop it, though, because I wouldn't want to ding up or scratch my metal. So I have been pretty careful with these things. I might actually buy some sort of padded case to keep these in just so I don't scratch them up, because I feel like they look really nice. It takes some getting used to singing out of them, though. You still have to sing into the top, but it's got, you know, a lot of mesh, a big mesh grill on the side of here. And I would be curious to know, I didn't see it in the specs for this thing when I was looking, whether or not this is cardioid or supercardioid. I would almost lean towards supercardioid because, you know, you kind of got to be right on it, which I kind of like. You know, it'll catch you up further away, but when I sing karaoke, I know I was complaining about, you know, mic eaters before, but I'm a pretty quiet karaoke singer, so I've kind of become accustomed to like kind of having this on my lip when it's my own mic. When I'm at a bar, though, and I'm singing karaoke, yeah, I'm one of the, well, keep in mind, this is excessively long for a mic grill, but I am the karaoke singer that has my hand right up under the grill on a typical mic, and my thumb is out so I don't accidentally touch my mouth to this communal mic grill. That's how I sing karaoke at a bar. So I'm used to like something touching my right under my lip, and typically if I'm out and about, it's my thumb so I don't touch the mic, but at home when it's my mic, I'm just all up in that thing. Check, 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 you know? As far as the sound of the mic goes, well, first of all, I'm not sure what the transmitting technology is on this. This might be Bluetooth, I'm not sure. It doesn't really say in the manual. I tried to look it up to see what it was. Is it 2.4 gigahertz, some sort of, I know it says it's digital, but you know, my gut says it's probably just Bluetooth, but I'm not 100% sure. You know, transmitting range, you're obviously not going to get the same as like my Sennheiser transmitting range, but once again, why would you be 100 feet away from this trying to sing karaoke? You just wouldn't. You're going to be close by it. It's a party speaker. Sound quality wise, I can tell the difference between one of these mics coming out of this speaker and, you know, my Sennheiser microphones coming out of my Yamaha speaker or just any speaker. And I say that because I do a lot of sound tech work, and I am used to going check 1 2, check 1 2, check check check, mic check 1 2 as I walk around the stage and listen to my voice and EQ my voice to the microphone. I do it all the time, so I'm used to what I sound like coming out of a speaker, and I do sound a little different. Not horribly different, although I'll get to something that I've noticed recently with this. I do also think that there is a pretty tight gate on here. And you might not be familiar with what a gate is, but a gate, so there's noise gates on microphones where if it's not really getting a signal, it clamps down. Now, in a lot of microphones, it's going to be called squelch. It's kind of its own built-in gate. So if you have squelch off, you can go really far with your microphone, but you're more apt to get interference. If you have the squelch turned up, you're less likely to get interference, but because it puts a noise gate on there. So anything under a certain threshold, it cuts off. So I think this thing has a pretty tight gate on it. I don't know, it's probably for a combination of feedback resistance and, you know, squelch and, you know, interference that might be picked up maybe if these mics get too close together or something. But I can hear it. So if you turn the echo off 100% and I just say check 1, 2, as my voice trails off, I can hear it getting cut out by the gate. Is it the end of the world? No. I would rather have it get cut off in a speaker like this than have feedback or some sort of weird interference when you're using it. So I think that's fine. And if you have the echo up, you don't really notice it, because if you go check, the gate might cut your voice off, but the reverberation or the echo, it says echo on there. I think it's some sort of echoey reverb. I'm not sure what actual algorithm they wound up using for it, but I'm assuming it's some combination of an echoey reverb. But that gives the trail. So I think it sounds fine as long as you're using some effects. You don't really notice it. If you turned the effects off and you were singing and you were doing a prolonged note that slowly died off, you'd eventually hear it get cut off. At least I would. You know, this might be one of those things where the average person doesn't really notice it. The other thing is, I didn't really notice this the first time I was using it because I did have the effects up pretty high. But the second time I was doing a lot of singing through it, I was practicing some new songs, so I was really listening to the sound of my voice and seeing how I was enunciating the words and stuff, and I couldn't help thinking, I feel like my voice sounds funny. And you know, I thought maybe I would sound a little different. And this is also something where the average person might not notice this, because this is kind of a nuance of sound. And like I said, I listen to my voice all the time talking into a microphone when I do a sound check. And I do sound checks at every event I do. So I'm used to the way my voice sounds. That's why the average person might not notice, because they might not be used to hearing their own voice. But I'm used to hearing my own voice all the time. But I actually ended up, I was singing a song and I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn the effects down. So I shut the effects off and I just kind of talked, check, check, check. And I was listening to my voice and, you know, I kind of made weird noises. I sang a line and I'm like, there is definitely something different. And I had a hard time putting my finger on it. I actually went through the app to see if there was any kind of karaoke effect outside of like the echo, like if there was some sort of something going on with the microphone, and I didn't see anything in the app. And the only thing, I've come up with like 2 possibilities. Because I think I haven't run it through, like I should record it and run it through an audio analyzer and see if I can see something in it, but here's what I'm thinking. I think, now, before I say this, keep in mind, I bought this speaker for $200. It came with 2 wireless mics. You know, if the speaker itself is worth $150, that makes each of these mics $25. I am not expecting, you know, my Sennheiser mics cost $750 a piece. I'm not expecting these to sound like pro audio equipment. So I'm not knocking the product, I'm just critiquing the audio. But here's what I think. The only thing I can kind of come up with is I thought it sounded like I had a vocal doubler on my voice. Now, sometimes when I am running sound, I've ran sound for hip hop artists, sometimes I will take a slap delay with zero feedback on it, and that just means it doesn't like slap, 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 slap and trail off. It just does one quick slap, essentially. But I tighten the time frame to like, I don't know, 60 milliseconds or something, so that you hear this subtle delay right behind, because in a lot of hip-hop music, when you listen to it recorded, there's oversampling where they're, you know, rapping the same line twice, kind of thickens up the vocals a little bit. That's what I try to do with a really short slap delay. And I was almost thinking like it sounded like that. Like, am I hearing two of my voice? And then I thought, am I hearing, you know, audio from this cycle back through the microphone? I don't necessarily think so, because I do sing away from it like this, you know, pointing at it. And this is going to be the deadest part of the microphone. Unless it is hypercardioid or supercardioid, then there is a little bit of pickup back here, but not so much on the side. So I don't know there. But that's one possibility, but I think it's a very minor possibility that the sound of this is cycling back through and creating a slightly delayed doubling of my voice. I don't think that's the case. It's hard for me to test that because, you know, I'm always standing in front of it when I use it. But in general, I don't hear it with other microphones, and I just don't think these have a sensitive enough pickup for it to be doing it with this speaker. So I don't think that's the case. But what I'm thinking is, you know, this is a fairly cheap wireless mic. And it is digital. But, you know, the way a microphone works is it takes, you know, your vocal waves that you're, you know, screaming into it, and it compresses it. You know, well, with digital, it puts it into ones and zeros. So there is a little bit of analog to digital conversion, and then it sends over ones and zeros, and it gets to here and it decodes it. Now, I typically use analog mics with my systems. I have a lot of Audio-Technica analog ones. My Sennheiser ones are digital, but I use a lot of analog. And analog, it'll actually compress, transmit the signal, compress, decompress it, and it can add artifacts, and it can actually mess with the extreme highs and the extreme lows, because those are the tips of what gets compressed. I am not a microphone technology genius. I don't know if it compresses it prior to digital transmission of the signal. It might, and then when it gets over here, it decompresses it. Anytime you're compressing and decompressing for wireless transmission, you're kind of degrading the quality when you compress and decompress. So if that's the case, it could be possible that some sort of harmonics are coming through on the decompressed, because I don't feel like it's an exact doubling of my voice. I kind of think it is at a different pitch, like it's more of a phantom harmonic with my voice. And this is being very critical, mind you. So like I said, the average person, don't comment on here and be like, well, I don't hear any phantom harmonic with my microphone. I am saying I am being very hypercritical about this, and this is not a reason not to buy it. I'm just saying, like, I'm a sound tech by trade. It's what I do for a living. I know my voice, and I feel something, I hear something different with it. And I'm just trying to analyze it, because I don't hear it with professional microphones, but I do hear it with this. So don't think this is a reason not to buy the speaker. Don't get angry at me if you don't hear it. But I think there's a little bit of harmonics with the compression decompression that's coming through. Now, with that being said, I don't necessarily think it sounds bad, because like I was practicing James Blunt, You're Beautiful the other day, and it was giving me this like higher harmonic. That's why I think it's got to be at the top end of my vocal range, some sort of harmonic that comes in higher. I actually think it made me sing the song better, or not sing it better, but I think it made it sound better. So I don't think it's the end of the world with it. There's some songs where with that, I feel like you sound better, and that's why I was wondering if there was some sort of karaoke like effect going on with these. And that's why I looked through the app initially, because I was like, it doesn't make it sound horrible. Some songs it makes sound better. Now there are other songs where maybe you're just trying to hit low notes where it doesn't quite sound right having some sort of harmonizer behind you. I just don't know. It would be interesting to know if they actually did build that into here to be like, we're going to make karaoke singers sound better by adding a very subtle harmony with them, a slight harmonic. I don't know if that's the case, but it doesn't sound bad is my point. I can pick it out with my ears. I don't necessarily know if the average singer, the average consumer is going to be able to pick that out, but I can hear it. You know, would I buy this again, knowing all of this? Oh yeah. I did. $200, solidly worth it. Would I pay $400 for it personally? No, I waited for months to buy it. And mostly I wouldn't pay $400 for it because I do have a bunch of other pro audio gear. I mean, I probably own, I haven't even counted it, but 14, 16 pairs of speakers. Well, odd number, 15, because I've only got one battery-powered one. But I own a lot of speakers. I own a lot of microphones. I could easily just throw a pro audio speaker down here. But for $200, having something dedicated to home audio, solidly worth it. Would I pay $400 for it? No. But that's me personally. Would I have, if it was 25% off, would I have bought it? Yes, I still would have bought it at $300. $200, what I think was an outstanding deal. And I don't know, I feel like that was a mistake because the Essential with no microphones was the same price. It was the same $200. And the Essential's still on sale where this one is not. This is back to full price now. So I don't know if somebody messed up and put them both at $200 and I just got lucky and came in. I was nowhere near expecting this to be $200. I would pay $300 for it. $400 I would wait for a sale and continue to use what I had. Now if I didn't own anything, yes, I would pay $400 for it. It's a good speaker, and even at $400, $25 a mic for the wireless technology seems pretty cheap. At $200, it's hard to say the speaker alone is worth less than $150. That's why I was saying $25 per microphone. But at a $400 price tag, I would say 25% of the price is probably in the microphones at least. Because to get 2 external microphones, it's expensive. And these don't cut out. You know, I haven't went up to the 3rd floor and tried to sing through it because nobody's going to do that. But I've had no dropouts or anything around my condo using these. I think it's a good speaker. I've had no Bluetooth dropouts. I haven't really had any latency issues. Even though I have a karaoke library at home, I just YouTube my karaoke on my phone and sing. I don't set up a karaoke monitor and stuff. It's just, I just don't want to expend that energy for at-home karaoke. So I just YouTube karaoke on my phone and sing to that. And like I said, I've had no latency issues with Bluetooth and the music or anything like that. You know, there probably is some sort of latency in there, but I don't think it's noticeable personally. So yeah, 100%, I would recommend this speaker. Like if you're looking for an at-home karaoke speaker and you find this on sale, I would say buy it right away. If you're looking for just music for tailgating, you could probably skip these and save some money. I think it's nice to have the mics though. You know, in my review of this, I said this is the perfect little travel speaker. Put it on your nightstand, listen to the sound of thunderstorms if you're trying to sleep in a busy city. I had it hooked on me and I was driving around on a moped with tunes blaring. Like, this is an awesome little portable speaker. But I said, like, if you're gonna tailgate and you want some music pumping, this isn't the ticket. You gotta have something a little bigger. If you're gonna walk around tailgating, you know, cranking out some tunes, I wouldn't recommend doing it holding it like this. But this is the speaker, and the price point I think is good. You know, if you were just getting it for tailgating music or for outdoor party music, there's bigger PartyBox options that you could go with. But if you want some karaoke, this is the speaker to get. Definitely recommend it. If you have any questions about this, feel free to throw it down in the comments section. And till next time, have a good day. Also, after recording that, I actually just went and sang a couple of karaoke songs because talking about it put me in the karaoke spirit. But I did want to also point out one thing that I forgot to mention. A lot of times with cheaper handheld microphones, you get a lot of handling noise. And these just don't have a whole lot of handling noise. I don't know if it's the all-metal construction. You know, they didn't use plastic, which is really nice. Most cheap microphones use plastic. But there's just not a whole lot of handling noise. You don't hear the thud, 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 thud if you move your hands up and down it while you're singing. Perhaps the squelcher gate on the microphone helps with that. You know, maybe handling noise just isn't loud enough to cut through. But even when you're singing, you just don't hear it. So I'm not saying it's non-existent. If you try to make handling noise and are rough moving your hand about, you're definitely going to hear it. But handling noise is pretty good on them. So, and JBL owns AKG, so perhaps they borrowed some microphone technology. But anyways, adios. Till next time.